So you're thinking about moving to Gilbert, Arizona, but you're not really sure what the pros and cons are, and you really want to get a good idea of what it's actually like living in Gilbert. Well, in this video, that's exactly what we're going to be covering. We're going to check out what it's like to live in Gilbert, the pros, the cons, and I mean real cons, not like sugar-coated cons that are secretly like pros spun in a weird way. Like, no, we're going to be real and honest and talk about the actual cons, because there are some real cons to living in Gilbert, Arizona. We got a lot to cover, so let's do this. I'm Samantha, and me and my team help people every single day just like you who are reaching out to us all the time make their move here to Phoenix, Arizona and all the surrounding areas like Gilbert. We absolutely love it. So whether you're making a move in 9 days, 9 months, or just have questions and need some help, we are always here. So just reach out, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, and we would love to help you out. Like I said, we're going to be chatting about Gilbert and the pros and cons of what it's actually like to live here. So if you need to know, if you're not sure, if you want to know the good side, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between, we are going to chat about it. So let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, so we are going to jump into it. The pros and cons of Gilbert, the good, bad, and the ugly. We're going to go through, and I'm just going to tell you guys all the good things and all the bad things about Gilbert, Arizona, and what it's like living there. This is not going to be one of those videos where it's like all the good pros and then all the cons, but the cons are like secretly like pros that they actually are like, oh, actually it's a con, but it's really a pro. No, there are cons. There are some things about Gilbert, Arizona that suck, and we're going to be real and honest and get into it. So let's do this. All right, we are going to start off with the pros, and then we're going to move in to the cons. So very first pro is Gilbert is an amazing place to raise a family. There's a lot that goes into this, but it's the community feel. There is parks, there's so much to do. It's very safe and friendly. And like I said, there's a big community feel. It's a very tight-knit community. And there's just a sense of like high quality of life and good living. The schools are incredible. So all of that kind of factors in. So if like a great place to raise a family is something that is important to you and your family, that is definitely a pro for living in Gilbert. Like I said, it's a tight-knit community. They actually have Gilbert has a town hashtag, and the hashtag is Gilbert Together. They really take that seriously. There's a lot of pride in Gilbert. There's a lot of love for Gilbert, and so people who live there really, really love it. Okay, so the second pro, we mentioned it really briefly and why it's a great place for families, but the second pro is the schools. The schools in Gilbert are incredible. Both the public schools and the private schools, as well as the charter schools, are all A-rated. They are phenomenal schools. Gilbert really has been very intentional about their school systems, about making it an incredible experience and really top-notch and highly rated. So schools in Gilbert are incredible, and that is one of the main draws for people moving to Gilbert. Like we said, it's a huge draw for families, and the school systems, the incredible education that is provided there is a huge part of that. They are the one of the top school districts in the entire state of Arizona, so schools in Gilbert are definitely a pro. Another pro is safety. This is something, again, that can be really important to families, but also young professionals or old people looking to retire. Pretty much anyone. I think everyone likes it to be safe. I know I do. But Gilbert is actually voted one of the safest cities in the whole nation, not just Arizona, but in the whole US, which is pretty cool. So it is incredibly safe. There's a very low rate of crime. And there is a lot to be said for that. The schools are very safe, the shopping centers, the neighborhoods, everyone just kind of feels okay with, walking around, being out and about. They really enjoy it. They don't have to worry about it so much. And so safety is definitely a big draw, especially if you're looking to relocate here for, like I said, families and stuff like that. That can be a huge draw. So the safety here within Gilbert is very important, and one of the things the community is really proud of. Another pro of living in Gilbert is the housing. It is beautiful. The homes are big, they are newer. If you've watched any of the other videos about Gilbert, we've mentioned a couple of times, but Gilbert didn't really start growing and the boom didn't really start until the 1990s. That's when a lot more growth, a lot more people started moving to Gilbert, and so because of that, the homes really are few and far between that are older than the 1990s. There's a few from the 80s, a couple from the 70s, but most of the homes are going to be 1990s and newer. There's still a lot of new building going on, so the homes are new. They're big. You've got lots of yard space, big backyards and front yards. It's very green. There's lots of trees and stuff. It doesn't feel like the desert. It definitely has more of a feel of kind of California than it does of Arizona. And so that's definitely a big draw for people, is those big, beautiful, nice homes, really large, spacious communities with a lot of amenities as well. Something that goes along with that is a lot of the homes, since they are newer in Gilbert, there are a lot of HOAs. Some of the communities are gated, some are not, but there are a lot of HOAs, and that can really make the community feel a lot nicer. There's a lot of amenities that can come with that HOA. You have things like community pools, parks, green belts, different sport courts, and everything like that. They keep the community looking really nice, feeling safe and everything like that. So kind of a plus would be those different communities that have the HOAs that really provide you a lot of different amenities just within that community right there. And a good thing about the HOAs there is that they're not too pricey. HOAs in Arizona are very, very common, especially in the kind of Phoenix metro area, and they can get pretty pricey. But in Gilbert, for the most part, the HOAs aren't too expensive. They're usually anywhere from $50 to $150 a month, occasionally closer up to the 200 mark, but that's when you get all the amenities, the bells and whistles, and all the cool like fitness centers and community centers and movie theaters and stuff like that in the actual neighborhoods. So for the most part, the HOAs are really affordable. Another pro of Gilbert, Arizona is the weather, and that kind of is consistent with the whole Phoenix metro area, but the weather is beautiful here. But there is a caveat with this one. It's really nice in the spring, the late fall, and the winter. The rest of the year, I'm not gonna lie, it's brutally hot. Like June to September, oof, it's rough. But outside of those months, the weather is gorgeous. It is sunny, it's in the like 70s and 80s, occasionally the low 90s in that time of year as well, but it's absolutely beautiful. It rains a couple of times a year, like the average is like 25 days a year it rains, but for the most part you have blue skies, lots of amazing weather, so you can get out and do hiking, biking, lots of outdoor activities, and Gilbert definitely has a setup for that. They have tons of parks and everything, lots of hiking, biking trails, dog parks, parks for humans, all the works. So the weather here is definitely a huge draw. Most of the places here that are bars, restaurants, different places to eat, they all have patios. People love being outside and enjoying the beautiful weather for most of the year here as well. There's also tons of golf courses and stuff, so kind of that outside living is a huge draw. And that is partly, well, mostly due to the incredible weather and all the sunshine that we get year-round here. Another awesome pro of living in Gilbert, Arizona is the dining and entertainment, and this has really started to grow and explode in the past 20 years. Like we said, Gilbert is a little bit newer with its growth and stuff like that. In the 1990s, it really started to boom, and so because of that, in the past 20 to 30 years, a lot has come in when it comes to restaurants, bars, dining, all of that stuff. So there is a lot of high-end dining, there's a lot of casual dining, and everything in between that you could want. In downtown Gilbert, if you've seen our vlog tour, even the map tour that we did of the downtown Gilbert area, there is so many places to go and hang out. You can sit out on the patio. Like I said, all these places here have patios and stuff like that. There's an incredible amount of things to do, not only just during the week, but on the weekends as well. Lots of really cool restaurants. There's some chains, but there's also a lot of independently family-owned businesses here when it comes to restaurants, coffee stops, stores, and everything like that. So kind of that community feel, people out and about enjoying everything that Gilbert has to offer. There is a lot of entertainment. Like we said, there's tons of outdoor activities as well, but there are things like arcade bars, movie theaters, Topgolf. If you have never been to Topgolf, it is like golfing but made into a game for people who are bad at golf, or people who are good at golf too. But me, myself, I am horrible at golf. Like I can't even mini golf to save my life, but Topgolf, that is for me. It's like this multi-story building and it's all open. It's like kind of out on the patio, around this patio area, and right in front of you is this kind of like giant putting green that has all these lit up targets, and you literally just stand on all those different levels and you whack golf balls into those targets. It is so much fun. You've got to try it. If you've never tried something like that, come out here and try it. It's a lot of fun. You can have food and drinks, so you're basically just hanging out on this patio on whatever level that you want, hitting golf balls, hanging out with your friends, and all making fun of each other for sucking, and it's okay because everyone does, but it is a blast. So things like that, there's just a lot to do all in the Gilbert area. So like I said, there's lots to do kind of all within the Gilbert area, and that kind of leads into the next pro, which is that the city is really convenient. You'll see that kind of as a trend if you've seen any of our other I cannot talk today. I'm so sorry. Geez. It is time for some coffee. If you've seen any other of the pros and cons, the vlog tours, any other videos that we do, we talk about how the Phoenix metro area and all the surrounding areas, convenience is a huge theme that you're going to see. You're never more than 5 or 10 minutes away from everything that you need for day-to-day life, whether it's grocery stores, gas stations, coffee shops, restaurants, bars. Everything is really, really close by, and there is so much to do and see all within a 5 or 10 minute drive. So that is definitely one of the pros for living in Gilbert, is just that convenience. You don't have to drive far to get whatever it is you need, and you're close to pretty much anything you'll need for the day-to-day life. I feel like I repeated myself a lot, but you get what I'm saying. All right, and the last pro that we are going to talk about for Gilbert is just the quality of life. And I feel like a lot of the factors that we've talked about tie into this when it comes to amazing schools and safety and convenience and a lot to do and see and amazing different businesses and restaurants and stuff like that. But there really is an amazing quality of life here in Gilbert, Arizona. That's kind of a theme you'll see throughout a lot of the different cities in the Phoenix area, but it's not chaotic and fast-paced and kind of that hustle and bustle the way that it is in some other cities like LA or Chicago or New York. It's a little bit more low-key, a little bit more laid back, and there really is an emphasis on quality of life. Like I said, there is so much to do outdoors, and people really take advantage of that. People are always outside in the Gilbert area enjoying the parks, the sidewalks, the patios, just really enjoying life. There's a huge emphasis on wellness and self-care and health here, which is really cool. There's a lot of wellness spas, wellness stores, wellness grocery stores, a lot of that here. There is a gym, it seems, on every single corner. Like I said, lots of parks and outside activities. So many people own bikes and skateboards and longboards and rollerblades and dogs to make them walk and stuff like that. My corgi makes me get out and walk a lot of the time. And so there is just a real sense of, like I said, community and wellness, taking care of yourself, enjoying your life, and really making sure that you and your family get to enjoy all the lifestyle and everything that Gilbert has. So that's definitely a huge pro for the Gilbert area. Okay, now time for everyone's favorite part, the cons. At least that's my favorite part whenever I watch videos like this. I'm like, oh, what are the bad things? Tell me. So the first con that we're going to touch on is cost of living. Gilbert is amazing. It has so much to offer, but the cost of living is high. It's actually 16% higher than the national average. It's an amazing lifestyle, but you do have to pay a little bit extra to have it in the Gilbert area. There are a couple of things that are lower. Groceries is 1% lower than the national average. Healthcare is actually 8% lower than the national average, but there are some things that are higher. Utilities in Gilbert is actually a dead tie. It's the same as the national average, which is great, but there are some costs that are going to be a lot more. Number one is going to be transportation. Transportation is high, at least for the cost in Gilbert. That's kind of going to be a common thing throughout all of the Phoenix area, and there's a couple reasons. You're going to have to pay to replace your car battery probably every 2 years because it is hot and the car batteries die fast. Don't worry about spending money on the super expensive car batteries that are like $500 and like guarantee that they'll last forever. They don't. It's so higher in the summers. They usually only make it 2 years. So you're going to replace your battery every 2 years. Gas, unfortunately, has gotten more and more expensive over the past year, especially with everything that's been happening overseas and stuff right now. Gas is very expensive here. We are close to the $5 mark, which is not a fun place to be. Hopefully that goes down in the future, but at least right now, in this time, that is where things are at. And in addition to that, with your transportation, you're going to have car insurance and things like that. So it is higher here than the national average. Another cost that is way higher in Gilbert than the national average is, of course, housing. The homes in Gilbert are beautiful. The communities have a lot to offer, but they are very, very expensive compared to the rest of the nation. So the national average is in the mid 300,000s, and the average home price in Gilbert is $554 right now. that could change depending on when you're watching this video, but right now at the time that we are posting it, that is the average for Gilbert. And there are a couple homes that are below that price, but most of the homes in the communities are going to be more expensive than that. So just be aware that if you are thinking of living in Gilbert, your housing is going to be one of the bigger costs. Another con, of course, is the weather. So in the spring, late fall, and winter, it's beautiful. In the summer, like I said earlier, June to September, it's brutal. If you've seen the other videos that we've done around, we talk about heat as being a major con, and it is no joke. Like, it will easily be 115 degrees in the summer. Like, we don't even bat an eye at that. Like, that is normal. People say it's a dry heat, so it's better. You'll hear everyone in Arizona be like, oh, well, at least it's a dry heat. Like, oh, it's not that bad, it's a dry heat. I call BS on that. Like, 115 degrees is still stinking hot, even if it is a dry heat. It feels like you're opening an oven and walking out into an oven. It's horrible. There are like days when it's so hot. Like, if you ever park your car outside in the summer, watch out. Like, you're literally like, you'll see memes of people with pot holders on just to be able to like hold their car wheel because it's so hot. Like I said, car batteries, they die pretty quick. They die pretty quick here because the heat is just so intense. You'll hear people joking about cooking an egg or cookies, like cooking an egg on the sidewalk or cooking cookies on your car. That's not a joke here. I actually did that as a kid. It's a real thing. You can absolutely cook food on the sidewalk because it is that hot in the summer. So that is definitely a drawback. Everyone just kind of stays inside, avoids the outdoors as much as possible, unless of course you have a pool, in which case that's kind of a saving grace for the summer. But other than that, the heat is pretty brutal. Speaking of pools, that actually takes us to our next con. They can be nice to look at and nice to have, but the con is it is actually a good amount of work and money to upkeep pools, especially if you're not used to them. In Arizona, it is incredibly common for people to have pools, especially here in kind of that Phoenix, Gilbert area. A lot of people have pools. There are community pools, which that's great because you don't have to take care of it. The community does it for you. But if you have a pool in your backyard, there is care and maintenance that you have to make sure happens. It's got to be cleaned regularly. You've got to balance the chemicals and pH regularly just to make sure it's actually safe to swim in and everything like that. And there's also the safety factor. So in Arizona, accidental drowning actually was a really big issue. And so there's now a law in Arizona that if there are any children living in the home under the age of 6 and you have a pool in your backyard, legally you have to have a gate or enclosure around it or one of those pool covers. They give really specific specifications. There's lots of companies that will come in and do that for you if the home doesn't already have it. But you'll see most of the homes here, if they do have a pool, they've already got that gate or fence up around it. So you've got to make sure it's, like I said, cleaned, chemicals balanced and stuff like that. If you're like super DIY and super motivated and you want to do it yourself, like, way to go, congrats to you. I am not one of those people. I would happily pay someone to do it for me, and a lot of people here do. Pool services are incredibly common, and they know exactly what to do and how to take care of it to make sure it's safe and ready to go any time of year for you. It's usually only $150 a month. They'll come out every week or every other week just to make sure everything's looking good and taken care of with your pool. So that is a bit of a con because it is going to be a little bit more work, time, and money to make sure that you're taking care of it okay. Another con of being in Gilbert is that you're going to be dealing with longer commutes if you're working outside of the Gilbert area. Gilbert is not a huge hub for employment, and so a lot of people who live in Gilbert typically work outside of the Gilbert area. You are not really that close to the downtown Phoenix or Scottsdale areas, so you're going to be driving at a minimum probably at least 30 minutes with rush hour traffic, maybe bump it up to 45, depending how far you live, maybe an hour. If you haven't seen the map tour that we've done of Gilbert, go ahead and check out the map tour so you can kind of see where it's at in relation to everything else, how far it would take to get to downtown and the airport and all those different areas and stuff like that. So if you are in the Gilbert area and you're working outside of Gilbert, that is something to be aware of. If you're not super keen on longer commutes, Gilbert might not be the place for you. And since we are talking about commutes, let's just roll right along to our next con, which is public transportation. The public transportation sucks in most of the Phoenix area. There is good public transportation kind of in the downtown Phoenix and downtown Tempe areas, but as soon as you get outside those areas, places like Gilbert really do not have good public transportation. We've got a bus system, but it's not really efficient. It's pretty slow, and so public transportation honestly is really not a great option. And Gilbert is pretty spread out. Like I said, feel free to watch that map kind of walkthrough video if you want to see kind of how spread out and how far apart things are, but it's really not that walkable. If you're going to be living in Gilbert, especially if you're working or going to school or anything, either on the other end of Gilbert or even outside of Gilbert, having a car is pretty essential. Most people in the Metro Phoenix area do have a car just because the whole city and all the surrounding areas are very spread out and you're going to be driving a lot. If you don't want to have a car or if you don't own a car, there are lots of options in addition to the public transportation. We have things like Uber and Lyft. There are tons of Uber and Lyft here and rideshare services and stuff like that. So if that is something that you are needing or interested in, that is always an option as well. But public transportation, don't bet on it in Gilbert. And finally, the last con of Gilbert is that it is just growing so quickly. I mean, growth can be great and everything, don't get me wrong, But the affordability that used to come with living in Gilbert is really starting to go away quickly. Like I said, the housing prices are a lot higher than the national average, and they have gone up dramatically just in the past 10 years. Gilbert is one of the most desired places for people moving here, whether they're moving from outside of Arizona or people even in Arizona looking to relocate to a different city. So many people want to live in Gilbert. They want the lifestyle and everything that it provides, but that just means that the affordability has gone down. There's just not enough homes to go around, and the prices are really going up quickly. So if Gilbert is a place that you're interested in, maybe it's not the place for you, but maybe it is. If it is, definitely reach out. Let me know. If you've got any other questions, if there's more you want to know about Gilbert, reach out anytime or watch some of the other videos that we've done. If you've got questions, if there's more information me or my team can provide that would be helpful, just shoot us a text, give us a call, send us an email. We are always here and happy to help. That is what we are here for, is to answer your questions and help you make a smooth move, whether it's to Gilbert or anywhere else. And if Gilbert's not the place for you, that's okay. It's not for everybody. If you still are trying to find what is the right place for you, that perfect fit in the Phoenix area, definitely also reach out to us and let us know. We are happy to find what is going to be the right fit for you, for your lifestyle, to give you kind of that dream scenario here in the Phoenix area. Whether you're moving in 9 days or 9 months, like I said, just give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email anytime. We are here and so happy to help you in any way we can. And until next time, hope to see you soon.